Finally tonight, Elvis's memory is alive in Nevada. The Elvis-orama Museum opens in Las Vegas later this week, and here's a sneak peek. Next to Graceland, it has the largest collection of Elvis memorabilia. There are $3 million worth of authentic Elvis items, including his Cadillac limo, movie posters, and his gold lame jumpsuit. The collection comes from years of buying at auctions, buying from other collectors, and buying from people who knew the king.
Time to go home. We'll put on some Elvis albums.
All shook up.
Good night.
Fisher Broadcasting.
November 2nd, 1999.
You don't have the proper medical attention that we need?
People are like that. Don't let them lie to you. Health care, if we die in here or not.
It may well be that nobody really listens when inmates grunt about the food, about the staff. But listen to what they're saying about their medical treatment.
They won't see you if you have a cold, you can be coughing up blood, and they still won't see you.
I have a heart condition, and I've gone weeks at a time without getting my heart medication.
We have a healthcare staff who you go in for a cut on the finger, like to give you a pap smear every single time.
Here you go. Still, it's not what they said that cost the chief medical officer at Valley State Prison for Women his job. It's what he said.
This is a group of women that are isolated, and I've heard inmates tell me that they would deliberately like to be examined. It's the only male contact to get.
That's an extraordinary thing to say.
Tonight, crime and punishment. Women in prison.
From ABC News, this is Nightline. Reporting from Chowchilla, California, Ted Koppel.
Back in the 30s and 40s, when Hollywood was cranking out prison movies with the likes of Jimmy Cagney and Edward G. Robinson, one of the classic stereotypes was the prison doctor, usually an alcoholic who conducted his examinations in a dirty, blood-stained smock with a lit cigarette dangling from the corner of his mouth. You knew instantly that he was working in a prison because no reputable practice or hospital would have him. Times have changed. The medical facilities here at Valley State Prison for Women are clean and modern. There is a considerable medical staff with experienced doctors, registered nurses, and what are called MTAs, medical technical assistants. Nevertheless, at or near the top of every list of complaints by women inmates is their medical care. And before this program is over, you'll understand why. The MTAs who have the least medical training are frequently the gatekeepers, deciding who gets to see a doctor and who doesn't. It can take a very long time. Some of the complaints you'll hear tonight would sound familiar to any number of us dissatisfied with our HMOs in the free world. And it's only fair to point out that many of the women complaining about their medical care inside prison never, or only rarely, even consulted a doctor on the outside. Still, the alleged abuses we'll be reporting on tonight are serious enough and frequent enough that they deserve attention. The women here have been sentenced to forfeit their freedom, not their dignity or their self-respect or their health.
A California court operating under the state's mandatory law of 3 strikes and you're out sentenced Linda Teague to a pair of life terms. Her third conviction had been for writing bad checks.
In November 1998, I had a lump that came on my breast, and I attempted to get treatment from the medical, and I finally got treated in June of this year.
Inadequate medical care is not supposed to be part of the sentence, but in Linda's case, it may have been.
They sent me out to Madera Hospital, and they did a biopsy, and their response to me was if I would have came sooner, they could have prevented what happened. I had a mastectomy. I lost my breast, and they took some of the lymph nodes then at that time to test to see if it had spread any further. And a couple weeks later, I got the results that it had spread. And again, the response was that I should have came sooner.
Don't cry, you're going to make me do it.
Laurie McCleary is 40 years old, arrested at the age of 16 and tried as an adult. Laurie has been in prison for the past 23 years.
It's not unusual to turn in an ibuprofen prescription and get back cardiac medication without an exam, without ever having a heart problem. But it is also not unusual. I have a heart condition, and I've gone weeks at a time without getting my heart medication.
Paula Leonard is serving 2 years, 8 months for petty theft.
This is about them not giving you your seizure medication when you tell them for 7 months that you need it, and they don't give you enough. And this is what happens when you fall off your bunk and you have a seizure.
This inmate claims that last July she told her work supervisor that she felt ill and needed to return to her room. She got the day off, but a day was added to her sentence for taking that time.
I went home and went to sleep. The next day I woke up, my roommate woke me up to go to work. I had a stroke in my sleep. All my right side, all this was twisted. I had no speech. I had no movement. I had no nothing. They came and they took me out. They took me to the infirmary. I stayed in the infirmary 2 hours without no help. I tell him something is wrong. I haven't felt my baby move at all.
She knows something about being pregnant. She has 7 other children on the outside.
He shook my stomach around. He took him 30 minutes to find my baby's heartbeat. And he says, oh, everything. I said, but still my baby ain't moved. Something's wrong. He says, oh, everything's fine. See you next week. Send me out the door.
The next day she was rushed to the county hospital where she said,
they do emergency ultrasound, and they tell me that I have what's considered as a fetal demise. My baby was already dead, but I was already in labor, and I had to already deliver him.
And so it goes. A litany of complaints ranging from allegations of apathy and incompetence to actual charges of misconduct and sexual harassment.
I signed up to see a doctor for a refill on my Tagamet. I went into the office and one of the doctors tells me to come in there, and he asked me what was I in there for, and I said for a refill. He says, well, here, put this on. I said, what's this for? He said, a pap smear. I said, excuse me? And then there was another lady in there for a sugar count on her being a diabetic, and he also had asked her the same thing. She said, what do you mean a pap smear? You know, and it's been going on. It's just been going on.
It doesn't matter what you go in there for, he wants to give you a pap smear, and if you refuse to give him a pap smear, he almost doesn't have nothing for you. He wants to throw you out.
We have a healthcare staff who, you go in for a cut on the finger, likes to give you a pap smear every single time.
Every time I've seen him, he's requested that I have a pap smear. Okay, for a chest cold, it will let me, do a pap smear. One, I'm not jumping on the table to have a pap smear did, and I think that as well as some of my roommates and some of the other people that have been here since '96, what are we getting pap smear did for if we only have a cold? Our cold has nothing to do with our lower body area.
I understand that, but you know that they are expected to give you a pap smear here once a year. Exactly.
Right, once a year, not 3 and 4 times a year when you have to go see him.
You're telling me it's happened more than once a year?
No, it has tried to happen more than once a year.
Which became the main focus of my conversation with Dr. Anthony DiDomenico, the chief medical officer at the Valley State Prison for Women. That part of the story when we come back.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Volvo.
Somewhere between where you are...
How's babysitting, guys?
We had a great time.
and where you're going. The new Volvo S40.
Maybe we should start with a dog.
Every bit of Volvo for about $23,000.
Janine?
Yeah?
I've got to go mail some packages. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Janine, anything happen when I was gone?
With eStamp Internet Postage, you can buy and print postage whenever you want. eStamp, postage when you need it.
Wednesday, our hidden cameras go inside weekend workshops on cosmetic surgery. Is this the way your surgeon is trained? Diane Sawyer investigates. 2020 Wednesday.
Oh, it's awful cold.
Poor baby. He'll be up all night.
Coughing.
Sneezing. No way he'll be up with the chicken.
No cold hands in the morning.
Sorry, girls, but he's getting NyQuil.
You need relief.
So I can rest. And when he wakes up, he'll be ready to go.
Good morning, ladies.
NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest and have a good morning medicine.
Ooh.
There's a minute in each morning where the day is fresh and brand new. A minute where the sun shines bright. And everything is so ripe and full of possibility. You can't wait to squeeze the most out of the day. That minute was made for Minute Maid. Home squeezed. Full of ripe, juicy bits bursting with the taste of morning itself. Minute Maid home squeeze style. Squeeze the day.
Last year, there were about 150 formal complaints filed by inmates every month against the medical staff at Valley State Prison for Women. This year, the complaints are averaging nearly 400 a month. I sat down with the prison's chief medical officer, Dr. Anthony DiDomenico.
Do you know what the biggest complaint of the inmates here is? I mean, the single biggest area?
I know. It's purported to be a problem is their access to medical care. I think that's one of the things, and that's probably one of the reasons why you're talking with me.
Sure. It's one of the, access is one of the things. They also claim that they're harassed by the doctors, unnecessary cervical exams. I mean, I can give you a list if you'd like to have it, but you're probably as familiar with it.
Well, we have to separate fact from fiction, and of course, some of our inmates do deal a great deal in fiction. I don't know whether you've ever seen a woman undergo a pelvic examination. It takes time. A woman's got to disrobe, get on a table especially designed for this kind of an examination. It requires the light, it requires a nurse assistant, and it requires equipment, specula, and then and taking samples. So the doctors are not very likely to do this unless there's a good reason.
But I mean, if someone came in complaining of a headache, it wouldn't make much sense to do a pelvic exam.
No.
But that's what some of the women are charging, that they come in with complaints that have absolutely nothing to do with the pelvic area, and are then required to have a pelvic exam.
I don't think they would be examined just because they had a headache. If there was another reason for the exam, while they're here, there's time, because they don't always show up when they're supposed to for their annual pelvic exams, and if a physician reviews the chart and sees that, in fact, that there is a need for repeat pelvic pat, he'll offer that while the patient's there. But just to do the exam, I think that may be wishful thinking on the part of some of these ladies. There are some females who do not object to the exam. And
you seem to be saying something rather strange. And
no, that's not strange.
I want to be sure I understand.
And I know we're on national television. I don't mean to imply that women go to the gynecologist just to be have more than a pelvic exam for looking for illnesses. But this is a group of women that are isolated, and I've heard inmates tell me that they would deliberately like to be examined. It's the only male contact to get.
That's an extraordinary thing to say.
Well, ask the inmates who tell me that.
I have. I mean, I've been asking the inmates, and what the inmates are telling me is they're getting pelvic exams they don't want and feel they don't need. You're telling me they're coming in here, in effect, asking for them? as some sort of titillation?
It could very be. It could very well be. I've been examining women for many, many years, and some of them do come in regularly with a complaint you can never find any explanation for, and you subsequently learn that that there is something in there that just dawns on you that there's maybe some gratification on their part from the exam. So these are facts. These are things that go on, and but. It's not an opportunity for the examining individual, whether they be male or female, incidentally, because we're all chaperoned. I mean, there's no reason to do an exam that's time-consuming and interferes with a busy schedule. So I would question the veracity of the people who are making these claims, for one thing, and I'm just offering an explanation as to why the physician might do it and why the inmate might want to say that well, there's a certain makeup in the character of some people who will make accusations about any number of things.
You're saying there's always a female nurse in attendance for a pelvic exam?
That's right.
Would it surprise you to learn that a number of your patients here say that's not so?
It would surprise me, but on the other hand, it wouldn't surprise me because I expect a lot of them to make statements that are not necessarily true. I can give you examples of many instances where we find the cases that they complain about, the situations they complain about, not to be the case at all. Things like a complaint lodging in the physician who presumably is doing unnecessary pelvic exams, which seem unreasonable given the fact that there's a chaperone and they don't have the time. They're so busy seeing patients. I don't know why they would want to do lengthy procedures like a pelvic exam.
Sexual harassment. Maybe, I mean, you know, I'm simply, you know, forgive me, but I'm giving you what I'm not being devil's advocate. I'm being the inmate's advocate for the moment. I'm carrying the inmate's complaint, and the inmates are saying to me, as are some of their legal representatives, that this kind of thing happens a lot.
Well, I really doubt that very much. I have to question the sources, really. And given the circumstances under which we work, which I've already described, I find it very unlikely. People have various motives for making allegations. They want to get back at the system. They want to get back at the man. Or they're being told. When we question inmates, why are you writing these 602s? Well, we're told to. By their attorneys. We'll never have quality doctors in the system as we do now. Not when we have people lying and then reinforced by opportunistic attorneys who are just looking for a reason to sue the state. This is a deep pocket syndrome. And I know that they'll be watching this, but nonetheless, it's true.
How many cases are there currently against, in other words, cases involving the deep pockets theory that you were espousing? How many cases are there currently against you or your doctors?
None.
Ah, isn't that strange?
Well, it must say something. Either they haven't had time to collect any facts, or they haven't come up with anything bona fide.
There is, as I suggested to you earlier in this interview, at least the possibility that some of these charges are accurate. Have you ever considered that?
If that were the case, they haven't filed a suit, and maybe that's because they haven't got any fact.
Well, it's very difficult, Doctor. If an inmate is in here or in an examining room alone with a doctor who is conducting a pelvic exam that she doesn't want, or who is making suggestions to her to the inmate that she doesn't want to hear, it's very difficult for her to prove that, isn't it? I mean, all she can do is file the complaint. There's not much more she can do.
If, in fact, she is alone with the physician.
Yeah.
But we don't know that to be the case.
Well, we don't know it not to be the case, do we?
Well, it's very, 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 very unlikely.
Because?
Because we are very careful. You know, when I first started practicing in the specialty of obstetrics and gynecology, we thought nothing of going into a room and examining a woman, just doing a pelvic routine, breast exam, and leaving the room. All right, you get dressed, Mrs. Smith, and I'll meet you in my consult.
But times have changed, haven't they?
Exactly.
Just how much times have changed and the consequences of that interview when we come back.
styled Lexus ES 300. Let the affair begin.
We're 345.6 miles from El Paso, Texas. Austin is north-northeast, turning south-southeast. Dry cleaner's 3.4 miles away. Buenos Aires. I am 45 feet above sea level. 47.
Should have bought you a tie.
You rely on Amazon.com for electronics and all sorts of gifts. They rely on priority mail to get it there fast and to save you money.
At this pace, we would get there in 12 days.
What's your priority?
Like an eagle.
We never thought we'd use OnStar for snakes.
I just hate snakes.
Yeah, traveling through Arizona, we blew a front tire. It shot off the road, and I looked down at the ground. It is crawling with rattlesnakes.
It was unbelievable.
I pushed the OnStar button. Within seconds, the OnStar advisor pinpointed our location and sent a tow truck.
Call the paramedics.
Yeah, and kept talking, because we
hate snakes.
Yeah.
The one-touch connection to people who can help.
OnStar.
Call 1-800-OnStar-7.
We explore the world of nature. We examine the nature of man. Science Times in the New York Times. Every Tuesday, we reveal life's most intriguing secrets. Is everything connected? The New York Times. Expect the world.
How to find a good hamburger. Roommate problems. This is a college course. I'm not kidding.
Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher coming up.
Strategies for dealing with homesickness.
IHOP Revealed. We'll uncover how they really come up with wacky IHOP breakfast names. Behind IHOP scenes, we found this panel of supposed breakfast naming geniuses. But our hidden cameras reveal that these masterminds simply pull names out of a hat. And that's why they're called scrambles. The ranch scramble is stuffed with ham, tomato, and onion, then smothered with cheese and served with hash browns and buttermilk pancakes from $2.99. However, we could not find out how they chose any time's a good time for IHOP.
The day after our interview with Dr. DiDomenico, I was told that his boss, Dr. Susan Steinberg, was flying down from Sacramento to talk with me.
You have had an opportunity to read a partial transcript of the interview I did yesterday. You've had a chance to listen to the tape that some of your colleagues down here made. Do you stand behind everything he said?
No.
Would you like to tell me what you don't stand behind?
I think there are issues where the healthcare manager here and I have differences of opinion, but that's not unusual in any setting. I would say that the healthcare manager here is a very dedicated, compassionate physician and a good manager of the healthcare program here. He has opinions on many subjects, and his opinions may agree or disagree with mine. It has nothing to do with his abilities as a healthcare manager.
We're talking about a consistent body of complaints that has been made against this medical system here. You going to look into that?
We, of course, look into it. We investigate each and every complaint, and each and every complaint that we receive goes through a process of evaluation. And when and if any complaint is made by an inmate related to any inappropriate behavior on the part of any staff member, the Department of Corrections investigates this. We have several systems. It isn't just one system here at the prison, but there are outside areas in our system that investigate these things. I have to tell you, though, I have never received across my desk in the year and a half that I've been in the position I'm in a complaint from this prison related to health care or the physicians doing inappropriate pelvic examinations.
It sounded more like an endorsement than a rebuke, but by the next day, Dr. DiDomenico had been reassigned, and a few days later, Dr. Steinberg had reassessed.
The doctor has been reassigned to Sacramento here in the central office. His duties will entail entirely doing research for us on medically relevant issues. He will have absolutely no contact with patients, nor will he have any supervision of anyone who does have contact with patients. Until I have a full and thorough investigation and I have all the facts in front of me, that will be his assignment. And unfortunately, and here I think it's my personal affront as much as anything else, this doctor will never have patient care again in the Department of Corrections.
Dr. Steinberg went on to say that 2/3 of all pelvic exams at Valley State had been conducted by a female nurse practitioner. There have, however, been significant changes since our visit last month. A female obstetrician and gynecologist has been assigned to review the charts of every inmate who had a pelvic exam or a pap smear over the past year. Officials also tell us that all complaints against the medical staff are currently under review. A second doctor at Valley State has also been reassigned. An official would only describe the doctor's behavior as uncouth and unkind to inmates. I'll be back in a moment.
Style. It hit me the minute I walked in. It dripped from the chandeliers. It oozed from the upholstery.
Avenue. Sheer glamour at a very seductive price. New from Ethan Allen. There's a sale on now.
Let's be honest. There's really no such thing as a gracious winner. You might say things like nice game or shake your opponent's hand. But no matter how humble you are on the outside, deep down on the inside, you're saying, I'm better than you are. The Mitsubishi Galant, ranked the #1 family sedan under 20 grand by Car and Driver. Better than Accord or Camry. Boy, we just love saying that.
This Friday, don't miss The Insider, the film Newsweek calls an edge-of-your-seat, gut-churning thriller. Al Pacino, Russell Crowe.
I told the truth. That's not the point whether you told the truth or not.
The Insider, a Michael Mann film, rated R, starts Friday.
At MotherNature.com, you'll find all sorts of information about natural products, like how the ancient Incas in Peru believed maca root enhanced their virility.
Hey, guys.
Morning,
Mother
Nature.
Nature.
Very nice. Is it working?
I think so.
I can't make any guarantees, but have you noticed how happy Peruvian music is? Log on now. Your first purchase is free, up to $20.
McDonald's and the Blazers are getting ready to tip things off. Brian's working in the paint, Damon on his ball handling, and Steve on his new signature move. Everything has to be ready, because now at McDonald's, when you buy a bacon double cheeseburger extra value meal, you can collect these autographed mini balls, only $3.99 each. There's nothing like your Northwest McDonald's for Blazers mini basketballs. Did somebody say McDonald's? Hey, pick it up, guys. The clock's running down.
I'll be back again tomorrow night from the Valley State Prison for Women here in Chowchilla, California, as we focus on the one thing that makes any women's prison in the country different and distinct from any men's prison.
There you go.
Babies. They are born here within the prison walls.
You're not going to go home, and I'm not going to be with my baby, the first months. And it's sad, but, it's my mistake. I did it. I can't blame nobody.
And we'll be focusing on that as we continue our series on crime and punishment. That's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Chowchilla, California. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
For more information and extended interviews from our Crime and Punishment series,
Visit the Nightline page at abcnews.com, part of the Go Network.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News.
Choose a queen pillow top